Next up, Senator Shaheen.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here this morning and for your testimony. I just want to, I'm not going to ask you to respond to this, but just to be clear, I think everybody on this committee agrees that we need to secure our southern border. We may disagree on exactly how to do that, but I think that is a value that most Americans share. I do think we can do it in a way that still provides due process to people who are here as green card holders. And I'm particularly concerned when I get calls from New Hampshire citizens who are stopped at our border and interrogated without any process, without being told why they're being stopped. So I just want to put that on your radar so that you understand that that is a concern that we are seeing and hearing from American citizens about. I have been concerned for a long time through a number of administrations about the lack of technology on our northern border. In New Hampshire, we have video cameras that are supposed to pick up people coming across the border, and there's no service to those video cameras because we don't have cell service on our northern border. Our Border Patrol station in Pittsburgh gets its power from Canada, and in 2018, Congress passed the Mobile Now Act to speed up deployment of communications equipment infrastructure on federal property. It's not just a public safety issue, it's a national security imperative, as I'm sure you would agree. So understaffing, however, and red tape means that getting folks connected still takes way too long, and we've had some issues with the department in trying to get some of this equipment that we need on our northern border. So will you commit to ensuring that DHS will move expeditiously to improve communications infrastructure along New Hampshire's northern border?
Yeah, Senator, I will work with you on this. This is something that's come up several times with many of our senators and congressmen and women that represent the northern border. And I think that's a concern I hear quite often from people is with all the focus on the southern border, are you neglecting the northern border? And we are not. We have not pulled resources from the northern border, but we also recognize that we've got deficiencies there too. We do have some predator drones that are up there.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the reality is that the Stone Garden funds that used to have a percentage dedicated to the northern border have been taken for the southern border, so that our local law enforcement officials don't have the ability to access those funds and to get those grants in a way that's really important to help. So I hope you will look into that.
Those funds have been very important for our law enforcement, and so those are being reevaluated as well and assessed. And so I've had several people indicate to me that those are important to their local areas and local communities. The cameras you talked about, yes, do need to be fixed. The cell phone service and their reliance on that is not dependable, and we need the new technology upgrades in order to make sure that we can keep those operating. And we need more UAS and counter UAS technology at the northern border as well.
I understand that ICE has entered into an interagency agreement with the Bureau of Prisons to hold ICE detainees in our federal prison in Berlin, FCI Berlin, New Hampshire. I'm sure that you're aware that the Bureau of Prisons has faced chronic shortages in staffing for a number of years. This is particularly evident in Berlin, where it's being staffed at just over 60% for its corrections officers, and now it's hosting more than 230 detainees. So can you talk about how you're working to ensure that our federal prisons who are under contract with ICE are adequately staffed, and will you commit to ensuring that the Bureau of Prisons under contract with ICE is given the support that they need in order to hold those detainees?
Absolutely. That's all part of the evaluation that happens before that contract goes into place, is making sure they have the staffing and the requirements that meet the level that ICE detention requires. Many times the request we hear from local or state law enforcement or prison systems that want to help facilitate the detention of illegal criminals, such as we're addressing right now, are asking us to relax our federal standards so that they qualify, or asking us for more latitude. So our standards
I was
have
just
been
there. I can tell you
contracts.
they were not asking that in Berlin.
They may not have been up at your facility, but what I would say is that all of those boxes have to be checked and staffing requirements have to be met in order for that contract to be facilitated and utilized.
Well, what I heard is that we have trouble attracting people, corrections officers, other staff that we need, psychologists and medical staff. And so I think it's absolutely critical that we ensure that if ICE is going to use those facilities, that the funding is there to provide adequate staffing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I have another issue, and I'm out of time, but I just want to put on your radar screen that we appropriated $200 million to recapitalize facilities for the Coast Guard. One of those facilities that was damaged in storms is in Newcastle, New Hampshire. It's a facility that serves the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. It's critical to national security. I hope you will work with us to ensure that the funding goes to help rebuild those facilities that need it.
Yeah, we'll certainly take a look at that. As you know, we've proposed a new investment and future for the Coast Guard called Force Design 2028. And so we're excited about that because it recognizes the deficiencies that the Coast Guard has had to live with for far too long. It adds 15,000 coasties to the force. It also addresses not just cutters and not just airframe, but also infrastructure. What we need for buildings and for docks and for abilities to ports and infrastructure to really facilitate what they really provide for us. They are also a key part of not just search and rescue, but also our interdiction efforts right now as well. And we're not keeping up with the cartels out on the water.
I'm a big fan. I just don't want us to divert that funding.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.